Earth, we see that the majority of it is covered in water. In fact, nearly 70% of the surface of the Earth is covered by water. So why should we care about preserving it? Why is this an issue? Well, you see, the majority of that water is not usable. It's either locked up in glaciers or is sailing in the water, in the oceans. In fact, only about 2.5% of it is fresh water, the water that we use for everything we need. But even then, only 1% of that 2.5% is fresh water that is really easily accessible, because most of it is trapped either in glaciers or snowfields. So in essence, only about 0.007% of the planet's water is available for us to fuel and feed 6.8 billion people. When we think of things in this perspective, we can begin to understand why it actually becomes really important to start preserving water. Recognizing that human activity is having a really big impact on our freshwater resources through things like chemical contamination, the disappearance of water bodies through things like damming or unsustainable usages of groundwater aquifers, it becomes clear that preserving water is important. In fact, there has been a proposed planetary boundary for just how much water we can use per year. A planetary boundary has been proposed that has set the amount of water that can be used on a global scale that is still sustainable to be about 4,000 kilometers cubed. Now, this is on a global scale. On the level of the consumer, what can one do? On the level of the consumer, you can be more wary about your own personal water use and try to make it so that it's more sustainable. But how? Hoekstra et al. Have come up with a water footprint calculator, which is a tool that you can use to visualize how you're using water in order for you to be able to pinpoint the avenues of your life that are contributing the most to your water footprint, but that you could also change and have a smaller impact on the water usage. After we calculated our water footprint, we recognized that it wasn't so much a personal daily use of water, through things such as flushing the toilet or showering, that was contributing the most to our water footprint. In fact, it was things about our diets. Within that category of diet, the one that was having the biggest impact was actually meat and grain consumption. If you look at this graph, you can see that worldwide, meat production is what accounts for the majority of our water usage, followed second by grain productions. So in this way, you can see how through simple reductions in your diet and simple reductions in your amount of meat consumed and cereals consumed, you can greatly reduce your water footprint. If one is trying to become a planetary steward and have an active role in making sure that globally we stay within the planetary boundary for freshwater use, one of the best things that you can do is make smart and informed choices about the products that you buy. And this can be through reductions in the amount of meat that you buy or the amount of grains that you buy, but also being wary of where those products come from and the type of water footprint that those products are having in their country that it is produced.